What's going on, everybody? My name is Hussein the Brain. You're watching The Couch, and these are my NFL DFS picks for Week 6. We're concentrating on DraftKings. We're concentrating on GPPs, tournament plays. I don't have a lot of those crazy, stupid, contrarian picks this week, but I do have some. I have a lot of value picks and a lot of confident picks for this week. Starting off with the first contrarian pick. This one's going to be a little bit of a shocker. And I've been trying to dig up information to try and avoid this. But the two highest scoring games this week projected to be are being played Monday. The Chiefs, they score a ton of points. Also Cowboys, Cardinals, both offenses score a lot of points. Cardinals are up-tempo team. Those are not in the main slate. So the only high scoring game that we're seeing, or the highest scoring game other than that, would be the Bucks and Packers. We'll talk a little bit about that. Other than Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams, it's really tough to put a finger on who's going to ball out that game, though. Really, really tough, actually. But just 1 point less. So that's a 55-point total, the Buccaneers and the Packers game. But 54-point total, we have the Falcons-Vikings game. Very interesting here. Vegas, this is going to sound just a little bit funny. Vegas is doubling down or tripling down again. They were wrong the past game or two about the Falcons. Wasn't quite what we wanted. Matt Ryan, highly disappointed. With that being said, other than Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow, there's no other quarterback, no other team throwing the ball more than the Falcons, which is what we expected. Vikings D showed a little bit more promise. Still, they suck. Now, this one I could get a lot of flack for. I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but the price is not great. I think the ownership percentage is going to be very low. And for a team that's going to throw the ball a lot, a game that's going to be high scoring. They just fired Dan Quinn and their GM. Sometimes teams rally up and go all out and get a win like they did last year when they made a little bit of a coaching, I'd say a decision change amongst who's calling plays and who took over the defensive duties and whatnot. The Falcons, this happened to them last year, by the way, and ever since then they look good for the remainder of the season last year, the Falcons. Now, Dan Quinn's been the coach for about, 6 years now, something like that for the Falcons, and it was time for a change. I think this is just it's just a great pick for tournaments. And so other than the obvious reasons of why you're probably already hating that pick, and that's why ownership will be low, some more reasons why ownership will be low for Matt Ryan and why I'll be picking him over some other obvious choices for quarterback is because we have Matthew Stafford, excellent cash game play, not even hating on him in GPP or anything season long. This is a great streaming option in season long. This is great, okay? Going up against the Jaguars, Stafford's, he looked really good last year. They just got a little bit unlucky. Also, Adrian Peterson sent home with a certain type of illness. It's not that type of illness, so he was just sick. So I think Stafford's going to have to throw the ball. And this is just a good, obvious pick, and he's cheaper. And then right below him, we got another one right here in the same game. We're talking about the Falcons-Vikings game. Excellent streaming option for redraft leagues, season-long leagues. The price is great. Matchup is great. And Dalvin Cook is out. Madison has talent, but he's really not as good of a running back as Dalvin Cook. Not as talented as that. And I just feel like Dalvin Cook is also a smarter running back. He really just goes through the right hole, makes the right read, and blows right through it. And Madison just does not. That's not that I like Madison this week. Sure. I mean, his price you'll see is not good, so we probably won't pick him in anything. and this matchup is great. But just saying that losing Dalvin Cook probably means a few more pass attempts for Kirk Cousins. And that's why, I like Cousins. Don't get me wrong. Those two quarterbacks I like. And I mean, I really like them, Stafford and Cousins. But I think the ownership will be so low for Matt Ryan. And it's sitting right in front of us. Like, look, things have been trending downwards the past 2 weeks. But I'm going to trust Vegas on this one. And I'm going to go with, the high scoring game. Game script, check. High scoring game, check. Pass attempts, check. By the way, Julio Jones is back. I am currently still doing research. Haven't been able to find anything. And honestly, I don't know if this information is out there. I don't know how Julio Jones has looked this practice week. Has he been explosive, whatnot? And honestly, I don't really trust unless I see some reliable sources that tells me Julio Jones has been limping or something, and then I'd be like, all right, he's going to be a decoy. I don't think we're going to find anything. We saw last week, Julio Jones looks 2 weeks ago, Julio Jones looks explosive. Calvin Ridley looks explosive, and that was right before the Packers game, and those were lies. They were not. Look, I doubt they were looking explosive. Now Ridley's healthy. All I know is Julio Jones does not have an injury designation. Also, I think the Falcons facilities were shut down, but then they opened it right back up. It's been crazy, okay? Regardless, I think that Matt Ryan has at the very least, even if you're hating on this pick, I think we all know that Matt Ryan realistically has a shot of being a top 3 quarterback in this slate. And we're always looking to get at least top 4 quarterback when we do GPPs. And this week, I think you're really going to need to get a top 3. And I think Matt Ryan might be able to do it. We'll see at the ownership. Maybe I'm wrong with the ownership, but we'll see. I think he'll be less owned than guys like Cousins and Stafford. That's just my thinking there. Okay, moving on to running backs. Aaron Jones is the most expensive running back on this slate this week. I think Derrick Henry, he's my number 1 running back as far as rankings goes. I project him to score the most fantasy points this week out of any running back. He's priced at 7,300. James Robinson could have a really good bounce back game. Great matchup. Incredible talent here. 6,800 against the Lions. I think Jonathan Taylor is coming to his own. The matchup is great. The game script is great. Colts going against the Bengals. He's priced at 6,400. I think you can get him for maybe not a crazy ownership. I wouldn't call him contrarian though. And here we're going to a great cheap play. Myles Gaskin. Only 5,400, a little bit puzzling. The price is just too good. So he won't be a contrarian play, but he'll be one to give us a lot of salary relief. And here's people ask me, how many contrarian players do you have in a tournament, like a typical lineup? And it really varies. It's really 1 to 6. I know six is usually really... I've done 6 before, but very, very, very rarely. And so I usually have about 3. So 2, 3, or 4 contrarian picks. I think this week I won't be having too many contrarian picks just because I wasn't able to identify too many. And so we'll still need salary relief because this is a wide receiver I like this week. Myles Gaskin, very cheap price going against the Jets. Game script is there. Jordan Howard, healthy scratch last week. He is the man. We're looking at a workhorse here. And Dolphins, they're not the best running team or anything, but they're so much better than last year. They're actually somewhat decent. Like, they're all right. And you just can't really pass up on a great price like this. Now, if you're doing multiple entries, like I sometimes do, and stuff a tournament, or even if you're doing, 3 or 4 different entries in the same tournament or same slate, Gibson is only $100 more expensive, and so that's an easy swap. Okay, I just want to swap 2 players or 3 players or even 4 players, but keep a lot of the core players. It's easy to swap amongst players that are priced relatively the same. And just 300 more expensive than him is David Montgomery. The matchup is amazing. We're looking at a true workhorse here. He gets all the snaps, and I absolutely love this matchup. This could be the best NFL game of David Montgomery's career. It's possible. We'll just leave it at that. It is possible. Okay, so wide receivers, there's a lot that could have a good game, but the one that I'm really banking on here is going to actually be Davante Adams. I think if he is not, there's just so many ways he's going to succeed. So his matchup against the Buccaneers, I feel like the cornerback is a bit overrated. We saw Allen Robinson put up about 19 points last week, and so I think Davante Adams could do much better than that. This is the highest scoring game of the slate, so he's just going to get a ton of targets. He's going to get in the end zone. He's going to do it in the short game. If they double team him, he's going to do it with big throws that Aaron Rodgers is going to make if they don't double cover him. So just one of the wide receivers that I just have is just a high floor and also a high ceiling, and will probably be worth the price, at least for me, because I'm able to save with other guys like Myles Gaskin and so on and so forth. Just have all the faith right now in Justin Jefferson. I can't really hate on Adam Thielen. He's, depending on the type of scoring you're talking about, he's the third or second or number one wide receiver in fantasy. But Justin Jefferson, I think this is the game for him to absolutely explode. Once again, going against the Falcons, priced at $6,000. I think other people will be able to figure this out, but because of his poor performance last week, the ownership may not be too crazy. There's also much safer options. Maybe people go to those safer options. For $4,700, of course, everyone loves Parker. Everyone likes Mike Gesicki. But for much cheaper, we can go with Preston Williams. Is he back? I really don't know. But he looked good last week, and I can see the same type of play occurring against the Jets, where they just forget to cover him, or he's single covered and he beats his man down the field. One thing we liked about Preston Williams when he was a rookie, undrafted, is that he can make big plays. Yeah, he's not a 2-yard, 5-yard receiver. He can make those big plays down the field, and that's the type of upside we do need. And then I have a cheap punt play. If Brashard Perryman is out, we can go with Jeff Smith, and he's been a 20 targets the past 2 games. That's pretty insane. He looks like kind of a deep threat. Doesn't look like a short game type of wide receiver. So for this type of price, I think it's well worth it. Man, I thought they played early. I guess they don't play early. I was so sure they played early. Then 2 East Coast teams, right? Schedule's been so... Yeah, they don't play early. Okay, I thought they played early, and we would have found out if Brashard Perryman was out or not. Regardless, he's $3,000, and I'm just totally baffled. I swore they were playing early. Maybe I thought that because it's 2 East Coast teams. That's crazy. It could be I don't know. But the Dolphins were the Dolphins were not playing the Jets before the schedule. That might be why I'm seeing this. Okay, regardless, it doesn't matter. Maybe they just put a late. We won't know if Perryman's going to be out or not. He seems like a 50-50 shot. Gase thinks he's playing. I don't know. Who are you going to trust? Adam Gase is probably the last guy we'd trust on this planet. So, 3,000, you could still start him and just risk Brashard Perryman being a decoy or sucking. Still Jeff Smith probably would be a starter in 3 wide receiver sets, I'd imagine. We know Denzel Mims is still not playing. It's worth it as a punt just to risk it. If Perryman suits up, you spent $3,000. It's not the end of the world. Okay, for tight ends, there's a few obvious ones like Andrews, Gesicki. Fant is a game time decision. I love Jonnu Smith for sure. 5,200. Everything checks for this guy. Athleticism, matchup, skill, everything's great. So if you do want a little bit more of a contrarian guy, you can go with Hawkinson, who's $100 more expensive. Looking pretty good this year, but hasn't exploded or anything. Not a lot of hype because he hasn't exploded. Also coming off a bye week, just the hype and talk isn't there. Jonnu Smith, I've been hyping Jonnu Smith up before the season, and I'm like, look, Jonnu Smith, one of the best value picks in redraft leagues, went in round 10. And so if you want, a little more contrarian, you got that guy. It's not all who I wanted to really talk about. I wanted to highlight Zach Ertz. Matchup is great. They're going to have to use him. He's getting the targets, even though he's declined a little bit. Every tight end's got to have his day, right? And I think this is the day he's going to do good. I may have said this same thing last week and may have been dead wrong. But, man, for $5,000, you're looking to find a little secret, a little gem here. It could be Zach Ertz, who's not terribly cheap, definitely not expensive, and they're going to have to throw the ball. Ravens D and Ravens D should do well, and Ravens should win this game. Hayden Hurst, nice stack for Matt Ryan. If you're not, if you want to go with a dumb quarterback and like me with Matt Ryan and want to go even crazier, you could go with Hayden Hurst. Look, he's getting the targets, guys. He's getting the snaps. He's not getting the good targets though. He's not running those good routes. But I'm willing to just at least one lineup pick Hurst and or Matt Ryan because, like I said, they fired the coach. And the ownership's going to be especially really good right now because no one's going to be picking Hurst. No one is going to be picking Matt Ryan. I'm telling you, the ownership is going to be great. If you want to save, 3,100, Trey Burton. Mo Alley Cox is out. Trey Burton's been the pass-catching tight end. 5 targets a couple weeks ago, 6 targets this past week. Jack Doyle has not been involved much in the pass game. Phillip Rivers loves to throw to this guy. Also, Phillip Rivers sucks, but, hey, 3,100, that's going to be tough to beat. And I have one super punt for you. I'm not excited about. I trust Kyle Rudolph even more, but we do have Irv Smith. He is here, and he is absolutely minimum priced. Not exaggerating, he is a minimum priced tight end. Matchup is great. Like I said, I like Kyle Rudolph more, but we're looking at a punt. Kyle Rudolph's, I think, like 900 more expensive, something like that. Wait, is he? No, he's much more expensive. He is 1,200 more expensive than Irv Smith. So yeah, one's cheap, one's more trustworthy. I want to give you Irv Smith because it's a good punt. For defenses, I do love some of these top price defenses. They're good, but I think we go all in because of the price right here. Dolphins D, only 2,900. Are you kidding me? They're my favorite defense. They're super cheap, and I'm really not looking any further. Of course, you go with the Giants, Steelers, Colts, Patriots, or Ravens D, but why not save and go with the Dolphins? All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to our second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast. Good luck this week in fantasy, whether you play redraft or you play DFS. Smash the thumbs up if you enjoyed it, thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll catch you on the next one.